Hey guys, I have Michiko Hayashi on the line. She is the Global Director and Ambassador for the Emoto Peace Project. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much, Ryan, for having me on. Wonderful to meet you.
Wonderful to meet you as well. And as I was talking before we started the recording,
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get to the science or behind the science of prayer,
Mhm.
intention, and the Emoto Peace Project is right down that alley. How did you get involved with the Emoto Peace Project?
Well, before Emoto Peace Project started, I was Dr. Emoto's, well, I had been working with Dr. Emoto as a personal assistant, administrative personal assistant. I started working for him in March of 2004. And when he was invited to the United Nations headquarters office in New York in 2005, he announced the idea of this Emoto Peace Project that he would make the children's book of the message from water and distribute huge amount of number of this book. And so as a personal assistant, I started to help him. And that was the beginning of this Emoto Peace Project. And he passed in 2014. And he asked me to continue with this project because this is so important. So I promised that I would continue to do that. So now I am the successor.
Well, I'm glad that you continued because in my own research, as I'm going through a lot of the, well, just looking at the pictures, reading the children's book, that blew me away. Let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
If we put a word
Mhm.
on some water and it changes the water molecules or whatever, how does that work? Is it our intention or is it the actual word or what have you
It's
found out?
our it's our mind, it's our intention, it's our thought, it's our spirit. Like the moment we think of something, the energy, such energy is created already. So have you heard of the effect called Baxter Effect or phenomena? Baxter, Cleve Baxter was the CIA interrogator, is that what you call? And he was using the lie detector. He was the expert of lie detector. And one day in 2000, I think, no, 1966, when he was in the office, he was bored. At that time, he had this lie detector. He was the expert of using this polygraph. And then that day he was bored and there was a plant called Dracaena in his room. And then he wondered, what if I connect this Dracaena with a polygraph? So he did. And he connected those two, then it started moving like this. And then he thought of burning this plant. Then the moment he thought of it, the lie detector started going up like this. So he wondered why. He never said anything. The only thing was he had the idea of burning this plant. Then at that moment, plant started to react. The plant could feel that energy that he had, the thought that he had. So he wondered why that happened. He started to do a lot of research, study, experiments with plants, of course, and even living food or bacteria. Same thing happened. He discovered that all living beings detects or reacts to our thoughts. So that really makes sense that water responds to our thought instantaneously like this. And that's part of the study that Dr. Luc Montagnier, who is a Nobel laureate from discovering HIV virus, he has done many thousands of experiments with water and DNA. And what he did was he had, of course, one glass of water, and he put just a little bit of DNA inside, and left it. And there was another glass of water right beside it. And this one didn't have any DNA in it. And after 18 hours, he put a PCR in it. Now everyone knows about PCR. PCR is to amplify the DNAs. So he did it. And here in this glass of water, of course, the same DNA was amplified, was created on this glass of water, which did not have any DNA, should not have, theoretically, or scientifically, it shouldn't have same DNA as this one because it didn't have original one. But what happened was he discovered that this one also had the same DNA as the other one. So that was the beginning of his research. Now, after probably about 10 years of his research, he discovered that water is communicating with each other. It doesn't matter the distance, because instantaneously, the water on the other side of the planet Earth is communicating. And we have that data also, and research also we have done many, many times.
That's mind-blowing. I was actually looking at a double-blind experiment that's put out by the National Institute of Health that was done with Dean Radin about exactly what you're talking about. Am I correct?
Yeah, so, well, yeah, it's a different research or experiment, but it's the same thing. Yeah.
So if I am focusing my attention or my thoughts on something here in California, could I hypothetically affect something where you are across the instantaneously?
Because space doesn't matter. It's energy that we're giving, and it's like sunlight. It comes instantaneously. Our intention, our thought goes to wherever we're directing instantaneously. And water is the conductor. We know it.
So if our bodies are mostly water, I think 70%, something like that. And I'm thinking negative thoughts all day, could I make myself sick?
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
and the sad thing is, most of the people are programmed as we are born and raised. We keep hearing as or even before we are born, from the time when we were in our mom's womb, where it's water, amniotic water. We sense mother's emotions as energy, as vibration. And I know that's also mainstream study also. And I have been communicating with this doctor who have written the books on memory of prenatal memory also, but it's another subject, so I'll put it right beside. But anyway, it doesn't matter, because the moment we emit, it's water that is giving that information. So if we are living with the negative thoughts or emotions every day, day after day, just imagine what kind of energy or vibration, and vibration is information. What kind of information are we giving to ourselves, and not only ourselves, but everything that is around us? If we have the plant, like right behind me, I'm giving that energy to that plant also. Everything is energy.
Everything is energy. And the more that I study, the more that I find out that I'm not so sure that anything is real. Because our bodies, for instance, the atoms inside of our bodies is just energy. We never actually touch anything.
Right.
So
yeah, because our atoms are always like neutron around the neutrons. Atoms are the electrons are moving around, right?
Right.
And our body everything is made up of atoms. Even this paper too. And in this atom, the electrons are moving around. That means it's vibration. It's energy.
Okay, okay, vibration. Let me ask you a question about that. I saw a video you did where you hit a tuning fork at 440 hertz,
Uh-huh.
and then you stopped it, and the other tuning fork at 440 hertz kept vibrating. But then you had another tuning fork at 442, I think, and nothing happened. How come when you hit one at 440 and then you've got one so close at 442, nothing happens? But
well, if you, a lot of musicians who plays the guitar or piano or what the music probably understand that, because this is a phenomenon that happens when you are purely in the same vibration frequency. When you hit, everything is making sound, even though our ears cannot hear it. But when we hit it, you can hear the sound vibration of this pen, right? Because the range that our ears can hear is only 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That's the limit of what our ears can hear. But dolphins can hear up to 150,000 hertz, which is much, much more than the vibration that our humans' ear can hear. That means we are not hearing everything that exists. Anyway, when the vibration or frequency is exactly the same, shaking this at the same vibration, then the resonance does not happen when there's just only one. Resonance happens when there are two things. Right. When I hit this one, for example, 440 hertz, and when there's another 440 exactly the same, then this one resonates because it's the same vibration. So even though I don't hit this one, this resonate and makes sound. Not as big as this one, but this one does. Whereas 442, there's only 2 hertz difference, which is what 440 hertz means. It's vibrating 440 times in 1 second. And so it's just shaking or vibrating so fast. And 442 is only 2 times difference in 1 second. But it's not exactly the vibrating with different vibration. It's not exactly the same. So it does not resonate with this one. So as you can see, this is a law of vibration, law of frequency. And that is law of attraction, the law of the universe, because everything is vibration. So the words, the thoughts we have, the words we use every day, the news we watch every day, we hear from our ears, we feel with our skins, water in the air is catching that too, and we are observing, our skin is observing that water. We're breathing in that water too. So information that we have, if we are receiving the positive and beautiful vibration or information, then eventually we start to resonate with that. Have you seen a lot of pendulum? Many pendulums. At the beginning, there were like hundreds of pendulums.
I saw that. I know what you're talking about. I'm going to show the video.
At the beginning, it's chaotic.
I know.
It doesn't resonate. But toward the end, they start to resonate and start to move. So that's from chaotic. If we continue to listen to something beautiful, then we start to resonate. So
you just sent chill bumps up my arm because I just watched that 2 days ago, and it was so awesome. And there was one at the very last that did not want to give in, but then finally it gave in to the rest of them. So it was just.
And that's why Dr. Emoto said by the way, 650 million children's book to all children on earth, because we want that effect.
That's amazing.
Phenomena happen on this earth.
Well, I have a 10-year-old son that I talk about. He knows about your work. So,
oh, great. Thank you. Yeah. We're this, you can download for free of charge. And if you want the hard copy of this, I can send it to you. And we are asking, like, to continue with this project, we are asking for just $5 for one copy of the book, and the shipping cost for to send one copy to the US. So the postage is only like $3.50 or something.
Okay.
So it's not bad at all.
Okay, we'll get that out there for you.
Okay.
I've got about one more question. I know
Sure.
that you don't have a lot of time today, but
Yeah.
if okay, so my ultimate goal is to find out about the science of prayer. Can a person heal somebody? Can a person heal themselves? And I'm thinking that if I have an illness, for instance, let's say there's a pain in my belly and I sit there and I worry about it all day long, I'm thinking it has a potential to get worse. However, if I focus some type of energy on it, prayer, whatever you want to call it, it may have the potential to get better.
Sure.
So
I know it to be true.
what would I focus on if I wanted to try to heal? Would I focus on gratitude, or what would you say I would need to focus on?
Okay. Now, gratitude is very important. Focus on, for example, when you drink your water, say, thank you so much for healing my pain in my stomach. I'm healed. Thank you. I love you, and drink it. And then just visualize that you have been healed and say, thank you. And that's the most important. You have to, what happens is a lot of people say that they want to be healed, so they try to do it. But deep inside, they have the doubt. That's the blockage. It's not the shaking the same frequency. It's a slightly different, right?
Right.
So you're not bringing what you want to bring to yourself, because it's a law of vibration. It has to be exactly the same vibration. So what I'm saying is, visualize that you have been healed already, and you're outside without any pain, being happy, playing outside or playing inside, laughing and smiling, being grateful. And the thoughts and words and action need to be in alignment. Then you can bring that to your life reality.
That's fantastic. That you're not the only person that I've heard that from in the past week.
Oh, really?
Oh, I've talked to 2 other people. One of my friends lives down the road from me, and I've talked to somebody else about prayer. And I don't know, everybody seems to they're starting to get it now, you know.
It's really good, because I think it's because of this time of pandemic, people start to learn so much about the reality and what kind of world we are right now living right now, and how we can heal ourselves or prevent ourselves from getting diseases also. And it's a lot to do. It has a lot to do with our consciousness, because, well, this is something, I don't know if you can show this, but real quickly, I want to show you this picture of the water crystal that we took in our institute, in the laboratory, from the word COVID-19. Actually, it was not that ugly at the beginning. But what makes it really ugly is when we add COVID-19 with fear. Fear is the one that really gives a negative energy. And then when we replace that fear with love and gratitude, see, the same water changes to this.
I see that.
Isn't that?
So I understand it, I believe it, and I'm trying to just wrap my head around it, because it always seems like a bunch of religious mumbo jumbo, but then you look at the science and it's real. So, I
It's
mean, yeah.
it's now getting to be a mainstream
Oh,
science
I know.
now.
I know.
It was not until these professors and researchers started to talk about out loud. They did not want to do it yet, but this past 5-6 years already, they've been talking about it out loud. And there are more and more people who talk about it, even professors with, of course, PhDs and researchers, like Dr. Bruce Lipton also.
Oh, I love Bruce.
Yeah, isn't he excellent? Yeah.
No, he is. He's funny. He does a lot. He's the father of epigenetics, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah. Epigenetics can explain also because it's water. DNA is all water too.
Oh,
So,
I've watched some things by several researchers, William Bingston, Joe Dispenza, people like that. And
yeah, Joe Dispenza is really excellent.
Yeah, there's more and more scientists coming out every day. It's amazing. Yeah. So
isn't that wonderful?
what's the best thing that we can do to help you get your message out? What's the one
thank
thing?
you so much. If people can come to my website, www.emotopeaceproject.net, EMOTO peaceproject.net. That's it.
Okay.
Then they can learn much more. And I included science of water there under picture books. So people can, if they have any doubt, they can go to science of water because Dr. Gerald Pollack from University of Washington talks about the fourth phase of water. That I have the book, I mean, in Japanese here. And here in this book, he talks about where water may have memory. It's a fourth phase of water and how it's related to our health and everything. Also, Dr. Luc Montagnier talks about DNA teleportation. So they can study that.
Awesome. And I thank you so much for being with us today. This has been a fantastic eye opener. And for anybody that watches this, it should be an eye opener. And we will talk next time.
All right. Excited about your app. I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait either. We're launching in February and half of the program is written. I still don't want to say too much about it, but it's just a prayer app that will track.
That's something that we really need all around the world, really.
I'm hoping to do that very shortly. So we'll get there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.